Welcome to the Rotary Club of Georgetown. I'm Georgianne Hewitt, President-elect of this club. Our President, George Morgan, is not here today. His wife, Kimmy, got very ill yesterday and had to go to the hospital, and so he is with her and asked me to stand in for him. So I hope you will keep her and George in your prayers. I'm going to invite the folks. I'm not sure the folks that are on this list are here, but let's see. I don't think I see Allison, so can I ask somebody to do the prayer?
I'll do it.
Okay. All right, Ron's going to do the prayer and the pledge, and Ray's going to do the milestones.
Join with me for a moment, please. And as we do this, think that we just finished a Thanksgiving season, and we as Rotarians have so much to be thankful for when there are those that don't have what we have. And now we move into another season in which we all celebrate in our own way. Join with me, please. Lord, thank you for this opportunity once again on a Friday in Georgetown to come together and fellowship and fun at a time when this club does so many good things in our community, and we'll begin to celebrate even more of those in the coming 4 weeks. We'd ask your blessing on this food, nourish it to our bodies. In Christ's name I pray, amen. Amen. Would you join with me for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a really short list of milestones this week. Member birthdays: Barbara Garland, December 10th. Happy birthday. Barbara. Steve Shaw, December 12th. Spouse birthdays: Howard Burt's wife, Penny, on December the 8th. And Rhonda Pritchard's husband, Chris, on December the 10th. We have no wedding anniversaries to celebrate this week. And club anniversaries: Michael Estrada, 3 years, on December 9th. Didn't bring my glass up. Salute.
And I want to, please be seated. I want to thank Henry Yu and Hector Martinez. Henry, of course, is filming this so that we can post it on YouTube. Just as a reminder, you can always use those YouTube videos as a makeup meeting. And Hector's running our AV. With George being gone, I'm going to ask your help as we kind of wing our way through this. So the first thing we're going to do is introduce any guests. Hector's got a microphone.
I have a guest today. This is coming on Coastal Seasons of EDA.
I have Eddie Soltis with us today. He's actually going to be our guest speaker, so great guy, and I look forward to y'all getting to know him.
And do we have any visiting Rotarians?
Yep. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Carolyn Holloway, 76 Rotary Club. And I still have a few tickets for breakfast with Santa next weekend. So I'll be right here. Thank you. To me.
All right, I think we have some service. Oh, George Oliver, please come up and tell us a little bit about membership. Okay.
Very quickly, Erica Igo, would you stand up, please? Andy Cantwell, would you stand up, please? Both of these individuals went through Rotary orientation this morning and will be inducted next week. So we're giving them a week to think about what they're getting into, and then next week we'll make them Rotary members. Also, Randy Mongold, would you hold up a certain stack of magazines, please? We talked about getting out the word on Rotary. One thing is you can take your old Rotarian magazines, leave them at the hairdresser, at the doctor's office. Look what Karen Wilson brought in today for Randy to distribute. Thank you, Karen. Please follow her example. Thank you.
And Dennis, do you have any Sergeant at Arms announcements?
I did it today.
All right, and then I think we have some service opportunities, ramp build. Anybody want to say anything about the ramp build? It's next weekend. I believe it's in Georgetown. Okay. And then wrapping party. Barbara's going to come up. And Christmas.
As you all know, it is our tradition to buy gifts for children from the Texas Baptist Children's Home. And next week, we will honor them here at our program. If you did not have an opportunity to give, we pass the hat for this every year. Ron's passing out some baskets. We are in the recycling, so ignore the dates on there. There's 2017, 2018, but just make your pledge. You can write down what you'd like to pay and Carol will bill you, or we will take cash. We will have 3 young men, 14 and 17 and 13, I believe, as our honorees next week. We will have a wrapping party at Ron and my house at 105 Running Water at 6:30 on Monday night. Pizza and wine will be served, but please let me know if you're coming so I'll have enough.
And in addition to the young people from the children's home, next week we are also going to honor those who have been serving us for so many years. Larry says he can't hear me in the back. I was trying to whisper because we want to honor those that are serving us each week. And so we need help, Larry, we need help setting up beforehand, correct? And then we need help serving, and then help cleaning up. This is a really wonderful opportunity to thank the ladies who are here each week and help us have such a lovely lunch. Okay, Rotary Social, I don't think I saw Allison come in, but it's next Friday, December 13th from 5 to 7 at George's on the Town. And I encourage you to do that. Bring people with you. It's always a fun time.
So over on the side table, Christiana has the tags from the Field of Honor. This is your one and only chance, if you want the tag, not the flag, to pick those up today. She's over there. So go pick up your flag tag.
And then Jeannie, I think you had a couple of things to say.
Guess what? I'm not asking you to sign up for anything. Aren't you happy about that? But I do have a whole bunch of things on the wall over there where we are collecting information from you. Whatever thoughts you have about different aspects of the Field of Honor that will be good feedback for the committee to review and to consider for next year. You can do that. We have little Post-it notes and Sharpies over there. Or you can take one of these that's on your table. If everybody will grab one, please. It's the same kind of information as what's up there. You can take it, think about it, jot down your thoughts and your feedback. We really, really need your input and want it. So you can either do that today and drop it off, or you can take it home, fill it out, scan it, and email it to me, or bring it next week. We're just going to continue collecting your information, your feedback for the Field of Honor so that we can continue to build on the good things that we were able to do this year and perhaps take a look at some of the things that could work better and other new opportunities and ideas that you may have. So your feedback is very important and we really appreciate your help. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jeannie. On the calendar, up here on the slide, of course, next week is our Christmas program and Rotary Social in the evening. Remember that Friday the 20th and Friday the 27th, we will not have meetings for the holidays. So don't come back until January. All right. We'll do a chance to make any other announcements at the end, but I want to give our speaker ample time. So Rhonda, would you come up here?
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to, it's my honor and pleasure to introduce Eddie Soltis today. I got to meet him a little bit a few months ago. I actually kind of stalked his mission, Fishing in the Dark, on Facebook for a little while, and I've been following him and seeing all the great things that he's been doing with some of our veterans who suffer from PTSD, and I just think that he's such a great guy, and his message and his mission is so valuable and important to our communities these days, and just in general for the world. And so it's my pleasure to introduce Eddie Soltis for you.
Make sure everyone can hear me. Can everyone hear me? All right. As Rhonda pointed out, my name's Eddie Soltis. I'm the president of Fishing in the Dark. It's our logo. I'm not nervous at all. But before I talk about Fishing in the Dark, I want to introduce myself and kind of tell you guys about me, because probably none of you have ever met me. Currently right now I'm an Austin police officer. I've been a police officer for the city of Austin for about 5 years. Prior to being a police officer at the city of Austin, I was a police officer up in Whiting, Indiana, which is right on the south side of Chicago. I did that for about 3 years. And then prior to becoming a police officer, I was in the United States Army Infantry from 2006 to 2010, and I was a sergeant in the infantry. I deployed to Iraq in 2008 to 2009. It was supposed to be an 18-month deployment. Ended up only being 13 months. We were all very happy about that. The guys that we replaced, they took 30% casualties. So what I'm saying is there's about 100 guys that we replaced. They lost about 30 individuals that day, or that year. We were going into, at that time, the worst, most violent area in Iraq at that point in time. And it was in Baghdad, Iraq. I wouldn't say we were lucky, but we were fortunate enough to only lose 2 veterans in that entire 13 months. And that's an absolutely amazing feat. But the worst part about that is that since we've been back, we've more than doubled that from the guys I deployed with personally that have taken their own life from suicide. And a lot of it is all related to PTSD. And if y'all don't know what PTSD is, I'm sure pretty much everyone has a good idea. And everyone has probably heard of the 22 a day. It's 22 veterans a day take their lives. And you see Mission 22, there's a lot of nonprofits out there that deal with that type of stuff. And actually, 22 is outdated. They just got the numbers back about a month ago for 2018. It's actually 26.2 veterans a day take their life. So that number is increasing, and being personally affected by it, by people that I deployed with that have taken their own lives, and myself having PTSD from things that I saw. And people have seen way worse than me, and I never claimed to see anything crazy, but everyone sees a situation and it's going to be different through each individual's eyes. Not lost at all where I was going with that. So when I was in Indiana, my wife told me, hey, you're kind of angry all the time and you're mad and you're moody. And I said, yeah, I probably am. It happens. I work in a hard area. She says, you should probably start fishing again. You used to like it as a kid. I said, okay. And I went out there and fished a little. I didn't really know what I was doing. To this day, I probably don't even know what I'm doing. So my wife's from Troy, Texas. If y'all know where Troy's at, that's where her whole family is, and her brother's still there. He's a DPS trooper up there, so if you get a ticket, you can give me a holler. Anyways, so she wanted to come back here, so I said, well, I'll apply at one police department. So I applied at Austin and unfortunately got hired on because I wanted to stay with my family. Well, there was a bass club there, and I started talking to the guy that runs the bass club, and he convinced me to sell my classic car and buy a boat. So I sold my Corvette and I bought a boat. That was fun. But what I didn't realize what it was going to do, other than give me a hobby, was it really allowed me to be by myself and have solidarity, be out on the water. You don't realize how calming it is when you have a hectic job, or if you have a bad day, or if you have just a bad week. You go out there, even if you don't catch anything, it's really calming. And it really kind of helped me get over a lot of issues that I had. And I was talking to my best friend, who you'll see in a slide in a little bit. I said, I really want to share this with other people, how it can help you. Because I don't want to have another one of my brothers take their life. And I say brothers because in the infantry, when I was in, it was only men. It's nothing against women who serve or anything like that. Everyone does the same job. But if I continue to say that, it's because my entire time it was that. So he said, well, hey, look at a couple of organizations in your area, see if they line up with the beliefs that you're trying to spread. I said, all right, so I did that. I did my research, and I didn't find anything that really met the criteria of what I was looking for. So I told him, I was like, hey, we're going to start a nonprofit. And he said, what? I said, yeah. I was like, I know exactly what I want to do, and this is what we're going to do. So now I'll stop talking about myself, and I'll actually talk about what Fishing in the Dark does. If you look at the logo, it's just like the song, Fishing in the Dark. Yes, they gave us approval to use their song, which is pretty cool. But our motto is giving veterans an outlet, and that outlet is bass fishing. And Fishing in the Dark is created to help veterans, like I said, with PTSD. But bass fishing isn't the only outlet. We know that. But it's the idea of having an outlet can help save lives and the lives of our veterans. You know, it's sad when more veterans take their lives that are dying in a war. And that's something that we're battling to overcome. But I want to explain to you what Fishing in the Dark does and why we're unique. Because you could say, well, there's Wounded Warrior, there's this, there's that. But why Fishing in the Dark is so unique is because we're one-on-one. We don't do any group things. There's tons of group stuff that people can go out and do. And that's great. But the guys that we're going after and the girls that we're going after are the ones that don't want to be in a crowd, that they're always in the corner of a room looking at everyone. When you can know they're military when they're walking and their head's just like this because they're paranoid. We're going after those guys that don't want to have that pressure of a group situation. And we've really found a niche because there isn't another organization like us that does anything like that. And I know I've said a lot about bass fishing. Bass fishing is probably the smallest thing that we do when we interact with our veterans. The first thing that we do is when we get an application, I call them myself personally, and we have a long conversation about what they have going on in their life. Because the last thing we want to have happen is take this guy out or this girl out on this awesome day where they don't have any stress, and then they go home and their life is a wreck. What good are we doing? We're not doing any good. So you really need to attack their core value. What's really affecting them? How are they able to function? And if they're not functioning, what can we do to get them to function? So the first thing we do is we ask them about their VA benefits. As in, are they going to see the VA for their medical needs? Are they getting the right rating so that, say they got, ringing in the ear, but they're not being compensated for it, and it is something that's constant. And they have it. They're always being reminded of, oh, I'm not being taken care of by the VA every time they hear a ringing in their ear. And it builds a lot of anger in their internally. And then the next thing we look at is their financial needs. When we look at these veterans, a lot of them are going to have addiction issues. They're going to have issues with, they're having emotional issues. So having a functional relationship with their significant other is going to be hard because they're already having an internal hard time. So we look at their financial stuff because that's a huge stressor. I know it is for me, and I know in my marriage that's finance is a huge thing. So if they don't have a job, we're going to find them a job. If they don't have a house or an apartment, we're going to find them that. And if they don't have food, we're going to find them food. If their bills aren't being paid, we're going to work with other organizations to have that happen. The idea is we want these men and women to be whole by the time that they come to us so that when we give them the outlet, they can actually go out and enjoy it. They don't need to be worrying about all this stuff going on in their lives. So when someone actually applies for our organization, it could be months before they come out because we want to work on their life before then. And because we're one-on-one, we work with one veteran at a time so no one gets left behind. Now it's a slow process, but we take out about one veteran a month. Sometimes it's less because we'll have a situation where someone may have an addiction issue or something like that, and we need to get them into treatment to help them out. Now, when they're in treatment, things like that, yes, we help another veteran. But the main thing is we want to make sure these guys don't get forgotten. And then the next thing is mental health. Obviously, PTSD is mental. We've partnered with over 150 different psychologists to help with individual psychology, family, kids. If we do have to have any type of intervention because of something negative they're going through, we have all those resources. And it's because of our partnership with other organizations. We're never afraid that if something's too large for us, to hand it off to the best person. But then we still keep tabs on every single veteran. Every veteran has a file and are consistently called. That brings us to the next, my next thing that I'm saying is we don't forget about veterans after they go fishing with us. So we get them all right, everything's good, and it's like, okay, cool, have a good day. No, it doesn't work that way. We're all brothers and sisters, and if I'm gonna go fishing and I have an empty seat on my boat, I'm gonna call you up. I'm gonna call and ask how you're doing. How was your Thanksgiving? If I see on Facebook you're posting some weird stuff, or anything like that, I'm gonna call you up. And as well as our vice president will do that and all of our volunteers, we develop relationships with them. And that is key because when they're in the military, they have 100 people they see every single day, just much like y'all, and you know each other's names. And then on the day you get out of the military, you lose 100 friendships on a face-to-face value. And they don't know how to deal with that. They lost their identity. So what we're doing is we're creating an environment for them to kind of have that. It's not perfect. It's not 100 people, but it may be 5 or 6, and they may find their best friend out of those 5 or 6. So we link our veterans up afterwards. We have a group to where it's like, hey, if you want to go fishing, you can put on there, hey, they want to go fishing today, and they can go fishing. And like I said, we're looking to expand eventually to like, hunting in the dark and shooting in the dark, things like that, but we're taking it a step at a time. There's no reason to rush this process. And the last thing is that everyone that takes a veteran out is a veteran. It's nothing against people who aren't veterans, but that's going against completely everything we're trying to do. So they understand what they're going through. They understand that if they're having a bad day, and we're 100% confidential. So what I say by that is, short of that person expressing the fact that they want to kill themselves today, nothing they say will ever be repeated ever again unless they give explicit consent for us to do so. So if you see pictures posted on here or on our website, it's because that veteran allowed us to do that. We'll take veterans out and they don't want anyone to know about it. Sucks for us publicity, but we respect that because they're already having a hard time even coming out. I'm actually working on a veteran right now that does 2 things. Goes to HEB and takes his kids to school. That's it. Nothing else. Doesn't leave his house. I've been working on it for like 7 months. It'll happen, and that's okay. But I want to show you guys some pictures because y'all been staring at me long enough. So this is me in Kuwait. The guy to the left of me is Damon. He is the vice president, and the guy to the right of him is BA. He's a ninja. I saw him jump off of a 2-story floor with like 300 pounds of gear and didn't even break anything. Next slide. This is after a 17-hour mission we had just gone on. We were tired, happy. We got the guy we were going after, but it just shows that brotherhood. You go through such thick and thin stuff that there's a bond that can never be broken, and that's why when you lose that, and you leave those people, you feel like you're less. Next slide. This is us now. I'm clean shaven because, the police officers let us grow beards for November, December. But Damon always has a beard. I'm very jealous. Next slide. So we do events. This is BAE Systems. They're a defense contractor in Austin. They picked us as their nonprofit, and they had a company event, and we got some donations from them, and we were able to spread the word. And we actually got, I think, 2 veterans that applied for this event. We also do Heroes Night Out, and we do OP Veterans. So we set a booth up. It's about 150 different veteran organizations, and we're just there to inform veterans that how we can help and kind of go from there, and hopefully find veterans that we can help. Next slide. So this was actually a couple, husband and a wife. They went out on our boats. They wanted to go out together, and I said, no, absolutely not. I was like, y'all are going to be closed-minded. I was like, we'll take you out on 2 boats. So Damon took his boat, and I took my boat. And that gear that they have is about $1,500 to $2,000 worth of gear that we give. We don't upfront tell people that. The idea is we're not going to give someone an outfit without giving them the tools to go do that. So we give them about 6 months worth of tackle, and then we give them 2 rod and reels. One's a bait caster, it's a complicated way to cast, and one's like an open face, everyone can do that. So it's giving them something to work on. So and if they don't know how to bass fish, that's fine. We take them out, we teach them 4 basic techniques, and everyone that we've taken out, I haven't had one person not catch a fish. So everyone has caught a fish every time we go out, and I pray to God that happens every time. There's nothing worse when you're sitting there, you've caught like 4, and you're like, oh geez, and they haven't caught any. This is actually our first veteran, Mike. This is the second time I took him out. I just called him and I said, hey man, you want to go fishing? And he's gone through a lot. He was in Iraq in the early stages before they had up-armored Humvees, and IEDs were just destroying companies. He has a lot going on. He's okay with me talking about this stuff. He's very open about it. But it's just an example of how we don't let our veterans go. You know, we contact them afterwards and things like that. Next slide. This is a funny story. So this gentleman applied. His name's Steve. He got shot in the neck in Baghdad, Iraq. And I got his application, I called him, and I said, hey, I see you were deployed twice, 2005 and 2008 to 2009. And he goes, yeah. I go, that's cool. Where at? He goes, Baghdad, Iraq. I go, cool, man. What unit were you in? He goes, I was in 4th ID Infantry. I said, all right, I was in 4th ID. I said, what company? He goes, I was in 122 Infantry Bravo Company. I was in 122 Infantry Alpha Company. Never met the guy. We stood 20 feet from each other for years. Never met him once. I heard about a guy in 2008 getting shot in the neck in South Baghdad. We thought he was passed away. He ended up getting shot in the collarbone, came out, hit his neck, and came out the backside. Didn't hit any major arteries. Got really lucky. It was like a miracle for him. And then he came out, and you can go next slide. This is the very first bass he's ever caught, and it was that day. I was really excited for him, and he was like over the moon. He's like, I didn't believe anything you were saying. I didn't think it was going to work. And then you can keep going. There's, I think, 2 more. I caught that one. I wanted to show that I can catch fish. And this is me, my wife in the red, and then that's actually my corporal. He was 82nd Airborne, and he was a Huey pilot in the Gulf War. So he came out. This is actually at OP Veteran. That was our booth that we had set up. Go ahead, next slide. So that's kind of a quick rundown of what we do. I apologize if I talk too fast. I had a lot of information that I wanted to get out to everybody. It's very important to me. Does anyone have any questions at all? Yes, sir.
How many volunteers do you have?
We have 2 right now that help out. The main thing is for us is we're keeping it small because until we want to expand it, we don't want a wrench getting thrown in it. There's no reason for us to expand until our demand is too high because we were only been out about a year. We started October of 2018, and let me tell you, figuring out 501c3 paperwork was horrendous.
I've got a quick question. Have you ever talked to Brad or Cody at Mesquite Creek Outfitters? They do veteran outdoors. I don't know if they do fishing, but if they have people that would want to do that kind of a thing, you could work with them. I know they do mountain climbing and hunting. I don't know about fishing, so do they?
Yeah, that's another thing that makes us different is a lot of nonprofits get their money from grants, so they need numbers, so that sometimes, I'm not talking bad about other nonprofits, but sometimes the veterans won't get the best service they need because they like having those numbers of we helped 100 veterans. Well, we actually don't even run on grants, we run on donations, and I donate a lot of the money myself by working overtime and such. So that way we're not reliant upon having numbers. So we will work with any nonprofit at all, anyone in the country to help a veteran get the best need that he needs or she needs. Yes, ma'am.
What do you need the most? What can people help you with?
Two things. More veterans that we can find to help. It's always hard. You guys, you as a whole know more people than I do and may know people that need help and are too afraid to ask. We get a lot of our recommendations from wives, from girlfriends, from boyfriends. It says, hey, I think this. And we kind of start that conversation. Other than that, it's honestly, it's a monetary thing for us because we do give so much away and it varies because, like I said, if we try to give about $1,500 worth of gear to these veterans, and if we get more, you know, we try to even it out so we always have about 12 veterans worth, so we can add more. Sometimes we have to take away more. But that's really where we're at.
So donations online?
Donations online. We have our the flyer I put on everybody's table. We have PayPal. We also have, you know, we have hats and T-shirts, stuff like that. Anything that we get is 100% goes towards our veterans. There's no overhead. I don't take money for my gas. I don't take money for like a boat payment or anything like that. We're not in it for that. No one's ever going to get a salary. We're looking to expand to Arizona. Our vice president, Damon, that's where he lives at right now, is in Arizona. We found a large population of veterans that need help out there, and they don't have a lot of the resources because there's so many military in Texas because of Fort Hood. So we're going to be expanding out there in about a year, so then we're going to be doubling what we do. So instead of 12, we'll be doing 24. So it's kind of our most pressing issue that we have.
Hi, my name is Glenn.
Yes, sir.
Glenn Towery. And first of all, I just want to tell you, I love the way your program is set up, how the work that you do prior to taking anyone out to fishing is so very, very important, and I commend you for that.
Thank you,
Great
sir.
work. And I wanted to know about your resources, and also let you know that I have a nonprofit. It's called the Veteran Suicide Prevention Channel.
Okay.
And if you need more resources, I'll talk to you after this. You can come to the channel. We have a lot of resources there to help with that pre-fishing thing that you do.
That's perfect. Yeah, anything we can do to work together, that'd be amazing.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Erica.
Whatever you feel like.
I'm like you, when I stand up, I get like super nervous too, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree, like this is fantastic, and I also have a big heart for veterans and people in general who just really need that level of help in the system, especially when they're in the mental state of darkness when it comes to PTSD. So thank you for service and for all of our veterans. Kind of piggybacking off what the gentleman just said is, thank you.
Oh gosh. I've recently also just started a nonprofit that I'd love to talk to you more about. It actually helps anyone. I know that you're specializing in veterans, but it is going for hospice.
Okay.
So let's connect, because I know that especially when it comes towards the end with VA and all the things that go with that I know there's additional needs.
Definitely, that'd be great to link up with it.
Okay.
Like I said, another resource would be amazing. Because we don't, and I think that's something is, you know, I'm from, you know, I served in 08, 09. It doesn't seem like long, it's 10 years ago, but it doesn't matter if you're from Vietnam, Korean War, whatever war it is, PTSD is the same. It just had a different name. You know, World War I think it was shell shock, or World War II. So it just takes on different forms. So it doesn't matter. It's not like, oh, well, you were in Iraq or Afghanistan, get out of here. No, it's all veterans we take on. We're actually working with a Vietnam veteran right now, actually. Yes, sir.
Just a comment for you. You've heard the old speaker's trick of visualizing your audience all sitting there with their underwear.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, God bless you for what you're doing. In this particular case, visualizing this Rotary Club with people sitting in their underwear could be scarier than anything you ever saw in your life.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. 10.5 pound largemouth. Yep, on a white swing jig. Kitech, I'll tell you everything I throw. Thank you all very much.
Eddie, thank you for your service and especially for the important work you're doing today. It is a tradition of our club to ask our speakers to sign a book, and it goes into Pearl Elementary Library. And so you can take it back to your seat and sign it, but we appreciate you sharing today.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, man.
Okay. Take a deep breath. Any other announcements? Anything anybody wants to remind us of?
Yes.
Joanne. Oh, Carol. Carol.
I have been raising my hand and no one noticed though. I thought I'd just get this out of the way. Okay, I did have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
What lakes do y'all go to?
I forgot to mention that. So any lake the veteran wants to go to that's within about 2.5 hours, I'll even make an exception if they want to go fish like a Dream Lake up to Dallas. It's really what they want, and if they don't have a preference on the lake, then I fish probably twice a week, so whatever lake I know that's fishing the best, I'm going to take them there.
Okay, cool. My real announcement is, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
It's really important, y'all, if next week is our Christmas program, and if you're bringing a guest, a spouse, a friend, or whatever, I need to get a head count. You don't have to put you just have to put the number of guests, if it's 1 or 2, that you're bringing. If you will do that for me, please. I need to give Alicia a head count by Wednesday. So I appreciate that.
Thanks, Carol. Joey.
Hi, I think you all know I'm the vocational chair this year, and we really hit the jackpot. The district, Rotary District, gives a $5,000 scholarship for a 2-year course in vocational area, and our girl this year chose computer communication. Anyway, so a final project in her class, they had to start from nothing and make a poster for a 501c3. So, seeing as she's beholden to us, she developed this from scratch. She was an Interact. She did the color, the font, the concept, everything. This is her. And she's so clever, she worked in Service Above Self, the 4-way test, Interact, and we got a Rotary seal. So this is what our money goes to, someone really being educated and aware of Rotary. Thank you.
Joanne does a really nice job with that program. Thank you. I saw one other hand. Julian.
Reminder about Pearl Elementary next Friday morning is a
knighting ceremony at Pearl Elementary next Friday morning. And those dates are, I believe, are in the trumpet. Thank you. All right. Any other announcements? Then if you'll stand, we'll take the 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First.
Is it the truth?
Second.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Third.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
And fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?